find that when most players are learning the blues scale, they just take the minor pentatonic and add one more note to it. Now that note that we're adding is referred to as the blue note oftentimes, but it's really the flat 5 or the flat 5th. And how do we find that? Well, if we take a C from like our C minor pentatonic scale, a 5th up from C is a G. Let me get a little power chord. If you can't find your 5ths, just play power chords, they're built in. Now if we take that 5th, which is a G in this case, and we flatten it, we get a flat 5, and there's our flat 5 interval. I think that's the British siren. That's the interval that you hear, when the coppers are coming, right? So that's the flat 5 blue note in question, and you've heard that loads and loads of guitar soloing. And if we wanted to, we could use that blues scale over an entire 12-bar blues in C. But there are actually 2 more ways that you can use the blues scale in a blues that will get you a lot more options than just the 6 notes in the minor blues scale. So what you heard me playing there was a combination of what we just talked about, the blues scale, and what I call the major blues scale. Now, how did I get that, and how do I use it? Well, if I take just a minor pentatonic, and I want to get a C major pentatonic sound, I'm going to take that whole pattern, and I'm going to push my hand down, and boom, there's my pinky on a C note. My first finger is on an A note because you probably know this as A minor pentatonic. But A minor pentatonic contains the same notes as C major pentatonic. It all depends on how you start and what you emphasize with those group of notes. But let's just forget about that for a minute and play the pattern that we learned for our minor blues scale. Let's start it from the C, but we could start it from the A. But we're going to get that C tonality, we'll start here. Now, that doesn't give us the flat 5 interval, it gives us a flat 3rd interval, which is really cool because in our C minor pentatonic scale, we get that E flat. And we hear that all the time, and it works, and it just works, even though our C7 has an E in it. So our C major pentatonic, or our major blues scale, has that note as well. There it is. And there it is there. So there's our E, and there's our E flat. So we really get a flat 3rd in this version of the blues scale as opposed to a flat 5. Now, you can call it a major blues scale if you want. I do just because it makes sense to me, but it gives me some great sounds. And what I was doing in the track that you heard me play was going back and forth between those two. So what you heard me playing there were the 2 instances of the blues scale, the major sounding one and the minor sounding one. But I also dropped in another blues scale over the 5 chord. So I'm playing over the G7, a G blues scale. This is another really cool way that you can really get the most mileage out of this scale and this fingering even. Because when you learn them all over the guitar, you can start to kind of see them and intertwine them together. And in this instance, we just want to use it over the 5 chord in the blues. Don't go chasing the 4 chord around. Use the minor scale for the 4 chord. Now over that G7, we want to start with finding a G minor pentatonic, which is going to be right here. I call it pattern 3. Okay, over that G7 chord. Now to get our flat 5, we just, if we knew all the fingerings, if we went through them, it'd be the same as any other key. We just transpose the fingering to where we need to be. But our 5th of G is a D note. So here's a D. We're gonna get D flat now as our flat 5, and then walk the scale down. So there's our D flat there. Now you can find one here on the 8th fret, 4th string. Sorry, that's 10th fret. And you could do that as well if you wanted to. But even if I just played by myself, if I went 1, 2, 3, start major. Minor. Here comes the G7. We only have that long. We can use both over the 1. Hear how that works? Or you could go, keep it in time, all 8th notes, triplets in this case. So you got a 3 for 1 with the blues scale. Now the thing I want to really impart to you is that as you learn these all over the guitar, you're gonna find them anywhere. Like for instance, if I'm playing C major sound, my minor sound is right here. Now if I want a G7, okay, there's my G minor pentatonic right there, but we want our D flats. But a lot of times you might go, so we can start to combine them as long as we're practiced up on all of our patterns, majors and minors. Different keys, G7. So we want to be able to find them in as many places as we can, and as you learn your scales all over the guitar, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see not only the major pentatonic, the minor pentatonic, but the blues scale as well. It's all connected, and as long as you know sort of when to plug and play some of those, you're going to get the sounds in your head that I think you want. I always find it helpful in these lessons to kind of talk you through what I'm playing over the track. So I'm going to roll the track. We'll talk about the scales and what we're playing over particular chords, but don't get too hung up on I have to do this then, I have to do this there. Let the spirit move you and pick the scale and the sound that you want. But we'll start probably with the major sound, then to minor. That's a nice handoff from the 1 to the 4 chord to do major to minor. And then it's kind of whatever you want from there. All right, we could target the 5 chord or not. Let's just try it. Here we go. Major. Let's go to the minor or the regular blues scale. Back to major. Major, minor, major, and I played over the 5. I could stay minor, regular blues scale. major? What if we stayed on major? It's okay. So that time I was really trying to, go back and forth between a couple of those scales. And over the 5 chord, I would do just a simple, because what I'm thinking there is that I'm thinking G minor pentatonic, but I have such a small window to do it. But if you nail it, it really sounds like you're playing through the changes. So I'm thinking this is G minor pentatonic pattern 2. And my D is here. So there's my flat 5 right there. And I can really just... So I just connect those. I could do it again. Let's try it again. We'll really make it obvious for you. Whatever. Trying to play artful and teaching at the same time isn't always the easiest thing, but yeah, I'm a professional. I should be able to sound better than that sometimes. But in any case, it was okay. The whole point is that I went over that G7 coming from my C. I played straight up that idea to really get you to hear it. Here we go. Just play the scale down. How about here? The idea, though, is I don't want to be chasing pattern 1s around all over the guitar. I want to find them. In those spots that are close by. That's where the challenge comes, and it's a little bit harder, but I thought playing against the track and talking you through it would really help. So this is a lesson I should have done a long time ago, probably, but sometimes you think, people know that already, but this is an important, way to kind of play through a blues is by using this blues scale 3 different ways, particularly over that 5 chord, because that's like your entrance into soloing over changes, right? We know we can make a move to work over a particular chord. Now that being said, please don't stress out about trying to hit right notes or chord tones over the right chord. The answers are within the scale. If you let your ears and your hands be the guide for now, you're gonna have fun, and that's what you want to do. You want to have fun playing this and get those answers, as opposed to trying to say, well, do I need to play a G when a G chord happens and a C when a C chord happens? The answers are in the scale. Just play. Don't worry about it. We can pick apart what you're doing later and reverse engineer it at any particular time. But you want to have fun and you want to be inspired, so jump in and start playing these scales. So I put all that stuff together for you for free in my YouTube video collection on my site, workingclassguitar.com. Just hit that link and enroll for free. Just drop your email in, create an account, super easy, and you'll join hundreds of other people that have really gotten a lot out of these free lessons and the assets that come with them. You're not only going to get this one, but you can peruse the entire collection to get whatever is available for free for you. And if you're a little light on your minor pentatonic stuff, I've put out a few courses where I teach them in depth, particularly one called Minor Pentatonic Mastery. We have a Major Pentatonic Unlocked course. There's plenty of stuff that's going to teach you where to find those scales and the blue note attached to them as well. So feel free to check those out. I put you some discount links in there as well if you want to have a look and see if those courses are right for you. And of course, ask me questions and drop comments below. I'm always happy to hear from you. And until next time, get on those blue scales, start moving them around, and I'll see you in the next lesson.